Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Please let me know if you can hear me well or at all. So, unless I hear back from you that you can hear me and what the quality is it clear or is it not? The other time it wasn't that good somehow. So, can you guys hear me? Do I get anything back? Can you guys tell me if you can hear me good? Is the quality good? Sloki, Abhishek, Johnny, Locomotive, and Baria. Is the quality of sound and picture is clear and crisp and good? Okay, good. All right, then. Hope you're all doing well. Baria is here, but Baria, you didn't tell us age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Locomotive, the same for you. I'd like to know a little bit about you guys. Age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Sloki, the same. Abhishek, thank you for that. It says, hey, Mehran, it's Abhishek from Delhi, India. I need your age as well, too, Abhishek, if you will. And Johnny, the same thing for you. Abhishek, 25 male. Thank you for that. Locomotive, UK 38 male. Thank you for that. and the rest of you, if you will. And then now we're open for business with a sip of tea at my favorite place in the world, Hawaii. See, my cup is magic cup. Takes me back where I want to be. There is the Black Rock, which actually doesn't have a good name, but but it is what it is. It's actually a Black Rock. That's why. And Tukaz Kowalski, it's a Polish name, I guess, says, hello, Lukas here, 34 May, Poland. Thank you for that. And Johnny is 22, Germany, male. Danke. Vielen Dank. So, that's it? You're all here to introduce yourselves? No questions? Okay, then, get your teas and coffee. We can play chess. So I thought I'll have an extra live stream, I guess, to make up for last week. We didn't have any, so this week we have two. Sloki says, male 25, Italy. Ah, como stai? Buongiorno or buonasera, huh? Yeah, it's buonasera. Says, my GF broke up with me after 6 years. Ah, 25. How old is your GF? Let me know about your girlfriend, boyfriend age when you come up with your questions, if you will. Until then, I go to Locomotive. It's the first question anyhow. It says, I got a question for you, sir. Okay. Says, is OCD anxiety disorder or a separate disorder according to science on DSM-5 is separate now? Okay. Look, anxiety could have a role in everything, pretty much, of these sort of things. But OCD is not an anxiety, necessarily anxiety. Anxiety can trigger it, not necessarily, but it can. But you can have OCD without having any anxiety. So I had OCD all my childhood. I had no anxiety, but there are certain things I had to do because there's a mechanism, as I've explained before, that is in midbrain basal ganglia in the striatum called caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus's job is automatic shutdown of intrusive thoughts, or OCD is also intrusive thought. It makes you think that if you don't wash your hands, something bad is happening, or your hands are dirty, even though it's clean. Or if you don't touch the light switch, maybe something bad happens to your dad. These are all just got nothing to do with anything, but it's intrusive thoughts. And then caudate nucleus is supposed to shut down intrusive thoughts, but it's like a automatic gear shift of a car, that when you go to a certain speed, it switches to the next gear, and then again switches to the next gear. But sometimes this automatic gear doesn't switch the gear to another gear when the speed arrives to a certain notation. That's when you got to supposedly, to understand it better, grab on the manual gear and place it into the second gear or third gear or wherever it's supposed to go. Same thing with caudate nucleus. It's supposed to be a lever to automatically shut down the intrusive thought that is, for many reasons, one of which is malfunction of the brain or overactiveness of amygdala. But in any case, when it's not functioning as it's designed to, caudate nucleus fails to shut down the intrusive thoughts. And that has nothing to do with anxiety necessarily. It just doesn't do the job. So then you, just like when you grab onto the manual gear and try to put it in place, you got to now, with your behavior and interaction with the thought, you rewire the brain so caudate nucleus learns and brain learns to step away from these creating these intrusive thoughts because you won't play with them, you won't entertain them. And you train it through neuroplasticity by your reaction and interaction with these intrusive thoughts, and rewire the brain to learn not to create these thoughts. So in other words, you're trying to fix and help repair the broken parts of the brain and help caudate nucleus to click back on to its natural automatic function of design. There are many things about it that we don't want to go into it because we don't have that kind of time, but that's gist of it. So yes, it could have something to do with anxiety, but it doesn't necessarily have to do anything with anxiety. You can have OCD and anxiety is no. I had a normal and functional childhood and all the sports and things I wanted to do, but when OCD would hit, I'll just thought maybe I gotta touch the light switch 10 times or wash my hand 5 times, but anxiety wasn't there. Nothing to do with it necessarily. All right. So where are we now? So we go back to Sloki. Says male 25 Italy. Says my GF broke up with me after 6 years. That means you were like 19. Okay, well, it should have been broken up 3 years ago. Because at 19, you guys don't hardly know who you are, let alone know what kind of girl you want, or she knows what kind of boy she wants. It's just an age that you will be infatuated with each other, and your hormones are there, and you naturally are attracted to each other. So, but it doesn't have to last. So, don't be bothered that it broke up. It's supposed to. Otherwise, you're going to go through life and just knowing having had one girlfriend at age 19. If you got to know each other and started a relationship at age 30, I can understand that you want to make something out of it for long term. But if it's 19 or 17 or 18 or 20, 21, you hardly know who you are, what you want, what you're about. You have no standards. What are your standards? What are your expectations from each other? So naturally, as you grow up from that age to another 4 or 5 years later, your consciousness is dynamically growing. And on that note, you will find things that you don't like anymore, or you prefer something else about the girl, different characteristics, different behavior, lifestyle. So then you may not have any interest in her, or she may not have any interest in you. But that doesn't mean either one of you are becoming a unapproved or bad person, or any hindrance to your character, or any second thought about yourself. It just means you guys are growing as you should, and your consciousness is now expanding, and its expectations, your character expects different standards in the partner that you're looking for. So that's that breakup is a very natural breakup, especially that you started it at age 19. Makes it all perfectly normal. And says, and she's already in another relationship. Yeah, she's going very fast with her new boyfriend. They're already doing things that took us years to do. Yeah, because you guys were kids then. Don't compare yourself that now she's doing this with him so fastly, that means he's better than me. No, you guys both were 19 or something at that time. Didn't have the maturity, didn't have the know-how, didn't know what to do. Now all the things that you have taught her or you guys taught each other, she's now already advanced. It's like you start playing chess and you don't know how the moves are, and it takes you a long time to learn them, let's say, and then how to behave with them, how to play with them, how to use them, how to think. But once you get to a certain stage of having had many games and certain competitions, you came to a certain level. Now once you play with another person, you play in a different game, a different level of the game. You can't say, well, he's playing in such a different style with that player. I didn't play with, well, because at that time he didn't know or she didn't know better. That's all they could do. That's all you could do at that time. Now she's more advanced in understanding how things are because you guys experienced it together. So there's no comparison. It's different time, different age, and just not worth your time to spend on that. And it says, part two says, girlfriend is 24. I'm sure 100% that I didn't want to get her back. Yeah, okay. But I feel obligated to advise her in order to not get abused or disappointed. It's none of your business. Leave it. She left your bed, she left the relationship, not your responsibility. Even then, it wasn't your responsibility until she was of legal age. Obviously, she was 18. Still, she was legal age, I guess, in most countries. So don't concern yourself with that. You want to protect her, or you want to tell her that you're a better guy, better man, you're still taking care of her, thinking of her. She's not going to listen anyhow, and it's up to her. She's 24 years old. She's not a child anymore. Leave it. Move on. And say, I want to do this only because her parents was good to me. Yeah, that's got nothing to do. You be good to her parents. Be respectful to her parents. You're not responsible for her. You're not her daddy. You're not her protector. She has chosen to leave. She's an adult, and that's it. How come her parents don't tell her all these things? If you want to be more responsible towards her than her own parents are, no. And even if you go and tell her parents that, oh, she's doing this and that, so forth, they're not going to do anything because it's none of their business. They feel it's none of their business, and they know the girl's not going to listen to them, and they know that she did these things with you when she was younger. So who cares if she's doing it now, whatever it is, with this at this stage of her life with somebody else? Just stay out of it, move on, find another girlfriend, and don't get yourself caught up with things that are not your responsibility, and you don't have to worry about it. And Sloki says, my mind is really invaded by fear of seeing her abused. Yeah, none of your business. And I'm afraid to advise her, and that she thinks that I'm jealous. Yeah, leave it. Or that I want her back, which is not at all. Then leave it. Just leave it. Stay out. There's so many people in this world that are going wrong, or in your opinion, or in my opinion, or in anyone's opinion, but it is not your duty, responsibility to spread yourself thin, worry about things that doesn't belong to you and it's not concerning of you, especially that they're adults. She will have to suffer or endure the consequences of her own actions. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about it. You're clear. Move on. Don't bother yourself. You have no mandate, you have no mission, you have no responsibility to advise her or anything like that. Just leave it. And Zukas Kowalski says, I broke up with my girlfriend. It was my decision as we did not fit together for many years, many reasons. Oh, I couldn't fully trust her. However, now I feel an intense sense of loss. Yeah, it's normal, natural, of course. You know, you could have a bicycle that is not working well and is parked in your yard, but when somebody steals it or it disappears, you have a sense of loss, even though you had no use for it anymore and you weren't riding it. So to speak. So, so don't worry about it. So how can I deal with it? Don't worry about it. That's how you deal with it. You worry about your own, and sense of loss is normal. And sense of loss doesn't look. Sense of loss or crying or being sad is not an evidence that she was the right girl for you. We have the sense of loss for anything that we were somehow had an experience with, or it was a positive experience, or we are used to it, had become part of our order. What you're missing is really not her. The sense of loss is not really because she's not there in your life. In parts, it is. But this is how it works. Before you met her and she met you, you each had your own routine in life. There were certain things that you were doing. I don't know, getting up, having your tea or coffee, and going to school, taking the bus, or going to work. After that, going to gym or meeting friends. Certain things you were doing during the day. These are called mechanical processes. All these mechanical processes creates a routine. That routine creates an order of life. That order of life is where your mind finds security. And in this particular discussion, I consider using mind and brain in the same context, but mind is different than brain, just so you know. But in here, so your mind finds security in order of things. And since millions of years, we human beings have been looking for security, physical security and psychological security, mental security. Hmm? Now, physically, we find security in a safe physical environment. Like I'm here, my ears are here, hands, limb, everything is here. I'm in my apartment. The door is locked. I'm in good part of town. So safe physical environment creates safe physical safety for me, security for me through safe physical environment for my physical portion of my entity. But my mind doesn't find security through the same way that my body finds security. In other words, safe physical environment does not create safety and security for my mind as well. Mind finds its security through order of life, through things that have created a routine in life, and in that routine, in that order, mind finds security. Because mind, the way we know it, doesn't have a physical presence. Therefore, you cannot locate or coordinate it unless you're trained how to do it. That mind and body would be coordinated, and mind would find a residence, a location in the body. Because mind doesn't have a location in the body to rest and be focused and concentrate there to create mind and body coordination, body is here, mind finds itself spread across many dimensions. Thinking about last year's events, thinking about what will happen tomorrow, thinking about how am I going to do my exams 2 weeks from now, thinking about the job, thinking about the things, all kind of things, and none of them are physical, they're all virtual. So mind, through thoughts, is spread around all over, and sometimes you find it gone to moon in 10 seconds is back, and before you know it, it's ready to go to Mars. So that's why mind doesn't find security in physical environment. It finds security in routine, in order of things. So before you met each other, you had a certain routine, certain order, because of the things you would do during your daytime, your lifetime. And she had a different set of routines, things that she would do during her day, and that had created a certain order for her. So you each had your your orders. When you guys met and combined your days and activities together, part of these things that you used to do remained, and the other parts were amalgamated and infused, and you shared. Therefore, the new order was a combination of certain individual things that you would do during your day as mechanical processes, and certain things that you would do together. And that all together, all these mechanical processes individually or together, had created the routine. The order was made by two people. For each of you, the order was made by two people, not before you met each other, which your order was made only by you. Now that your order was made by activities and interaction of two people during the day, now one of them is left. And mind would find security in that order that both of you had created. Now one of you is gone. And it took two to make this order. Now that order is broken and cannot be replenished and reviewed and redone and continue every day as it was and you were used to it. So the mind says, I'm confused. Where's my order? I can't find security because there's no order, because she's not there. For you, she's not there. And for her, you're not there. If you were introducing the breakup, but for her, it's different because she's now creating a new order for herself with somebody else. But for you, she's not there. So the order is broken. Order is broken. Mind doesn't have a place to find security. There's no order, but still wants security. Where does it go? It knows that the same order that existed throughout your life, when you guys were together, it's recorded in the memory. And mind wanting security and can't find it in the actual world because she's left and you're not creating the same order, mind goes into memory in the virtual world and finds the recording of all that what was used to be the order, and finds security in the memory, because in the memory the order is the same. While mind is in the memory and finds order as how things used to be, the echo of it, who else is there? Who else is in that memory that contains the order? She is there too, in the memory. When she is there in the memory, another file is triggered. Which file? The file that creates desire. When you guys met, there were certain prerequisites that needed to be met for desire for each other to be born. Those prerequisites were met. Different steps. There are 5 different steps and few different steps, and I have a video on desire and how to stop it, or what desire is and how it is born. But because that desire, the prerequisites for desire to be born between you two had already been met, it was also recorded. Now that the mind is in the memory looking for order and then finds her in that order in the memory, the prerequisite file is also triggered, replenishes, refreshes. And the mind, being in the virtual world, thinks that the prerequisite for desire for her to be born is met again. Therefore, you desire her again, even though it's not actual. But the brain triggers the desire because it triggers the file that the prerequisites for desire to be born is already there and it's already met. When that file is open, when that file opens, the desire is reborn. And when the desire is reborn, you have this sense of loss. You have this sense of need. desire for her. But in fact, you're not missing her. You're actually missing the order of life. And since it's not there, brain goes in the memory, and the memory finds her. Finding her in the memory triggers the desire file, prerequisite desire file. That is triggered, and then the desire is born, and then you think you're missing her. You're not. So the remedy is to start building new mechanical processes, things that you like to do, socializing, hobbies that you like. And through these new mechanical processes, you create new routine through which you create new order. And then the mind doesn't have to go in the memory to find security through the order of life, because you have created a new order in the actual world. The mind stays in the actual world, and you will be fine and dandy and relaxed and balanced, as your order is in the actuality, in the actual world, and you have created a new order. So the mind is now facing the reality of your life and is finding security in the actuality of your life. And that's why I get the big bucks. All right. Now we move on to Abhishek. So, sir, what impact, what impacted you in your life to help other people find answers in their questions? First of all, from childhood, I did like helping people, or I did like finding solutions, because I could recognize there are things that troublesome mentally. I wasn't aware that I'm looking for that, but I had that interest to find something more than eating and having fun and all that. Something more that I could rely on. That was maybe knowledge about why we are the way we are, why we act or react the way we are, the way we do. I could have been the beginning of it. And then later on, when I had my own personal life, I got divorced. So I had to deal with certain things. So contemplating, figuring out, negotiating life, challenges, helped me to see the need for knowing more. And then when my son wanted to break up with his girlfriend, and he came to me and told me that that's what he wants to do, so we started talking about it and its effects on human psyche and how to deal with it. And he said, you know, that stuff you're telling me is really helpful. So I remember we were in Hawaii at that time, and I remember the conversation. So I thought to myself, since I have some experience about my own personal life through divorce, how to treat the ex after divorce, how to interact with each other, how to treat and interact with each other in front of the children, in front of one's child after separation, after divorce. And then, since I now am discussing with my son about uh, when he breaks up with his girlfriend and how to handle things, so maybe there are other people around the world, young or old, who may benefit from these experiences. So I started sharing that on my channel. And then I stumbled on a someone who watched my videos from Germany, and he had an 8-year-old son, and his wife had left him, and he was devastated. So I worked with him for a while, maybe a month or so, and he fully was far better and, in a way, on his way to his life. It was very difficult for him. And then one day I got an email from him. He said, two months later of it, and he said that I just wanted to say hello and thank you and send you a gift. I think a man like you can do a lot with this. The gift was a link. And I opened the link. In university, I had studied, among other things, martial arts and the philosophy of understanding mind and body coordination and our energy and its connection with universal and natural energy, nature's energy, and all that. And I was very into that. But there was always something missing more, which I wasn't aware of. So when I opened that link, it was a link of a discussion and lectures of a master of 100 years ago, which psychologists and quantum physics professors would gather around him and ask him their questions. Well-known psychologist and quantum physics professor, well-known in the world, they would consult with him while he had not read anyone's book to learn what he learned. He had inwardly examined his own psyche throughout the years. So for me, it was like fish to water. It was something that I was seeking, and I could not wait till I come from work and start watching the lectures and interviews and interactions with between him and the psychologists and the quantum physics professor, and on different levels of discussions, until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And then I would sleep and get up and go to work and come back, and again from the afternoon while I'm eating and watching. And then at nights, often when I had finished earlier, I would go walk on the beach, maybe 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and walking on the seaside and remembering what I heard about the speeches, about the lectures, analyze them and record my thoughts and understanding of it. This went on for years. So, cutting the long story short, I began to understand thoroughly what his journey was, what movements of the psyche he was talking about, how they're all interrelated. And when I could understand that thoroughly, which is a continuous basis, not going to stop, then I was focused on OCD, which was something that I had a problem with myself since childhood. But I didn't consider it something that I had to deal with. I said, well, that's how it is. I got to, wash my hands if I have to. I touch the light switch 100 times if I have to. Otherwise, something bad happens. So, but that was consuming. And it was getting really bad and interrupting my life and things that I wanted to do, exhausting. So I went into neuroscience and understanding all the other elements and things about the components that are involved in OCD and OCD subsets. And then that took a few years as well. So the combination of understanding what is thought, what is thinking, what is consciousness, how is it put together, the relationship between consciousness and thoughts, and then fear, desire, ego, and then regarding the OCDs and the mechanism of it, the movement of the psyche and the components involved in OCD subsets, and introducing neuroscience and neurosurgery informations through the experts that have had lectures and so on. So the combination of it has brought to you yours truly at the moment. This was 13 years journey with background of all throughout my life that I was interested in analyzing and understanding certain things more than, because started from really the meditation and martial arts in university. I was very interested in that sort of expanding understanding. So here I am. That was a long response to a short question. Abhishek, wasn't it? But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Orlando Osuna says, Hi, Meran. Orlando Osuna, 45, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you for that. Says, how do you deal with intrusive thoughts of your ex? She has to deal with it, not you. Intrusive thoughts of the ex. I understand what you're saying. Says, how do you deal with intrusive thoughts of your ex? My mind keeps going back to times when we had fun, times when we first met, intimate times. It's yeah. The human psyche is keen to only think about the good things. Naturally, human being does not want to focus on the bad things in his life. And it's pain and pleasure. It only focuses on pleasure stuff. So what you're doing is naturally you're gravitating toward the good part of the relationship, which makes you not even be aware of what things were wrong and what things are the reality and actuality of her present moment and the way she treats you. So you don't see all of that, any of that. You don't consider that in the equation. You're only focusing on the good parts and you say, I miss her, I want her, because you're only focusing on how things used to be, not how she is now and your relationship with her is. When you focus on that and the reasons for that didn't go well and you broke up, then you will see, well, those characteristics that caused the breakup is not something that I want to deal with. It's not something that I like. Therefore, her true equation, her true image and presence and actuality is what she is and how she treats you now, not how she used to be and how you guys treated each other then. That's a memory. Memory is a past. Past is dead, doesn't exist. So that what you're attributing to her no longer exists. She's not that. She's this. And this girl is not that girl. And you like that girl. So if you like that girl and this girl is not that girl, so you can't be liking this girl. If you didn't understand this or that, then you're totally confused. And that's exactly what I want to get you at. My job is done. All right. So focus on her actuality, who she is, what she is, how she reacts and interacts with you. Then you can see, gee, I can't, that's not the girl I want. And then you won't. So what you're missing is the memories of good times. That has nothing to do with her. We all like memories of good times. Or find somebody else to create those memories of good times with, and it'll be just dandy. You wouldn't need her to be helping you to creating all those good things. You can create it with somebody else. So liking a memory of a fun thing is one thing, but that is not an evidence that you actually want her back. You want those things and characteristics and memories and times and fun things, pleasure things back in your life. So go make it. You had a beautiful car, a Ferrari broke down. Now you want to do what? Constantly sit there and say, oh, it used to be good. Yeah, it used to be, but it's broken down now. It's not going to get you anywhere. So go get another car and go and do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Ride it. Hmm? Jacqueline Blaze, okay, I butchered that. I'm sorry about it. Says, how do you get narcissists to stop hurting you? Move away. Simple. It's like saying someone's got a long stick. How do I stop him from hitting me? You go further out that the stick can't reach you. Jacqueline, I need to know your age and where you tuning in from. Narcissist has plans for everything that he or she does and tricks you to think that he doesn't mean anything devious or bad, and that your contribution to his request would cause him to give you what he hasn't been giving you, which is kindness, fairness, and calmness, and stop putting fear to your hearts. They hold that hostage for you to comply and do things that they want you to do. And you think if you do that, they will stop bothering you or causing trouble, since you're somehow stuck in that kind of a situation in that life. They put you in a position that You either give me what I want or I continue inflict fear to you through their behavior. So you should cut that supply that feeds them as part of your hope or greed that if I give him this, he will stop hurting me. But your answer is stop feeding him the fuel or thinking that you can fool them or make them behave properly. Just stop contact with them. Just move away. Don't try to fix them. You want to fix the situation? Save yourself. Narcissists are assholes. They're sick. They pretend very clever. They pretend very logical and civilized. They pretend and speak words that would sit in your heart, on your heart, and you believe them. And with that hope, you will end up going further and further into the well with the rope. And at that end, they will hold the rope, won't pull you up until you do things they want to do. So don't go down to their hole with their rope. In other words, don't believe a word that they're saying, regardless of if they're smiling, they're buying flour for you, or whatever the hell it is they're doing. It's all fucking lie, a plan to catch you doing some other thing for them, to abuse you in some other way, because that's their need. They're sick. So the only way you can, they're addicted to that. They get a high when you do that. It's like addiction. So you got to help them to kick the habit. How? Not by actually standing there and suffering through their bullshit. Help them is first helping yourself. Get away from that relationship. That's it. You don't want to be in a relationship with a narcissist. Simple. Ben Gol says, psychiatrist tells me I have HOCD. So if I have HOCD, that means I'm not gay. Yes, of course. That's the whole idea. Johnny says, how you cure HOCD? Oh, so what? Johnny? Oh, you're talking, Ben is talking to Johnny. Okay. Johnny says, I'm ready free from HOCD. I don't care about the thoughts that pop up in my head, but I have just a thought that caused me anxiety. Is about performance in bed. Is part of OCD, or I have performance anxiety. You just want to be the top dog and get the approval from your woman that you're the best. And that feeling of wanting to be the best creates anxiety and hinders your performance. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with you. All you have to do is say, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to enjoy myself, and I'm not going to be. Most of us men who are good to our girlfriends and we want to be the best for them, we want to please them, we go out of our way trying to make sure that they are pleased. So they will first will be enjoying to be with us. We think they deserve it. We want to pleasure them. And at the same time, we want their approval that we are the best. We are the top dog. We are the alpha. We are very good lovers. We are the best boyfriends. We want that. And for that, we are worried and concerned if I'm going to be able to do that goal that I have to please her to the point that she would say, you're the best. And that's so important to us. We're built that way, caveman style, but that's somehow we still have that hanging on our heads. So for that reason, you become too focused on how your performance is. It should be good. It should be perfect. And all that causes you distraction from her beautiful body, the parts that you like about her, enjoying yourself. So right now, from now on, you focus on your pleasure. Not how you perform, how you enjoy her. Why she's so beautiful, why you like her, why you want to make love to her. Focus on the things you like about her and your pleasure. If you focus on that, you will naturally, without trying, will perform in such a way that you pleasure yourself, you enjoy, and in the meantime, as a byproduct, she will enjoy thoroughly because you're focusing on her and how beautiful and sexy she is, how you pleasure yourself through being with her. And on that note, through focusing on how to pleasure yourself with her, she will get the best performance without you even focusing on it. So you focus on enjoying yourself and just don't give a damn how you're going to perform in her eyes. Just enjoy yourself. And that itself automatically balances itself. Your focus is on something other than where you are. You're supposed to be focusing on making love, but you're focusing on something outside of making love, which is the quality of how you perform. That's got nothing to do with what you're there to do. You're there to make love to her, to enjoy yourself. You're mating, but you're focusing on how she would think about your style of mating and if she would be pleased or not. Forget all that shit. Just go there like a caveman. Stay on the job. Focus on the job. Don't care about how she feels, as long as you're pleasant and not abusive in any kind, but just pleasure yourself. That feeling will pass, and then no longer you have that on your mind, and you'll just be focusing on things that you feel is going to make her feel great. Just focus on making her feel great, not how you perform. The performance, it has its own mind. It will do what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do. When you're less distracted and you're more focused on her sexuality, things will automatically work. You don't have to worry about that. That's not your job. Your job is just to be there, physically and mentally. That's all. And stop worrying about how you perform. Just enjoy. Don't give a fuck. It'll work out by itself. All right. Remember all, we have a site, mind-that-seeks-truth.com, www.mind-that-seeks-truth.com. You can go on this site, make an appointment with me for anything that you would like to discuss with me in detail on one-on-one on Skype. We'll discuss your concerns one-on-one on Skype. We can talk about things here now and then, and one or two questions. But if it's in detail, I can't necessarily go into all of them in very detail. So you can go on my site, make an appointment, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. For every new clients, for 1 hour registration, I will throw in a half an hour at least, so we won't have to rush, and we'll have between 1.5 hours or 2 hours, depending on what we're talking about in the first session that we'll have together. So, and Sloki says, thank you very much, sir. Says, please, guys, don't forget, like for this honorable sir. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, don't forget to like. God damn it, guys, do your thing. We need recognition from the YouTube, and the more like we have, then we could be visible, because already we are not visible. Like, we don't exist. With the quality of discussion and topics and information that is shared here, I'm sure you can attest to that. It's second to none, and I'm unanimous on that. It's second to none. I haven't seen any depth of real discussion on such issues on any channel. So since we have all these good qualities and information, therefore, God damn it, click on like and promote the channel the way you can. Talk about it on chat lines or wherever it is that you can promote this channel, and that's your contribution to help this channel stay alive. Otherwise, we'll just wither and die. And Stephen Lowe is here. Says, hey, Maran. Hello, Stephen. Stephen, male 42, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Locomotive says part 2. If you have OCD, how can you overcome it? Well, gee, you got to make an appointment so we can discuss it. That's just a small question with 5 hours response. Says when it's on our when it's on your awareness. For example, if you think or learn or do, you're doing it with OCD brain. I was told overcoming means when you can't tell the difference. No, that's again, you're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not thoughts, and thoughts are not you. You're the awareness, which in fact judges the production of the brain. So you decide for the brain rather than brain dictating to you through suggestions, and you accept them as they are bestowed upon you, as they are thrown at you. The brain is not your leader. The brain is not your intellect. The brain is an apparatus. The brain is a machine, it's a tool. It does calculation, it does configuration, it does analyzation, it makes thoughts. And most of these thoughts have nothing to do with you. They're based on the information that has been seeped through from the outside mediums and happenings in the world and existence of different things and in the world, different lifestyle, different products, different activities, different sports, different design, different everything. They've seeped that information into your consciousness, and the brain picks up from the consciousness and makes thoughts, and it really has no idea why it's making that. You going after it, trying to interpret it, is what causes you going crazy. So you have your awareness that is the only power on earth that can make anything that the brain makes ever see the light of day, or give it an actuality through action and make it to become real. Otherwise, the brain itself, through its thought, making thoughts, can never make anything happen and decide that this is how it's going to be, unless you allow what the brain suggests to become an actuality. Allow it to become an action. And it has to become an action outside of the brain. So brain itself is a virtual, and it cannot create actuality. But it's so powerful that makes you think that that virtual suggestion in the virtual world, that you would believe that, and through that belief make you do things. But if you have your mechanism of judging what the brain produces, you will not treat the brain as your leader or protector, because you're above the brain, and there are aspects of you and the mind that the brain cannot even reach. According to the experiments of Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owens, and Dr. Libet, which a report by Dr. Ignar was done on these experiments, which I made an elaborate video on that, which I will put the link here. It's about a 48-minute video, but it packs so much information with these brilliant neuroscientists and neurosurgeons, that they have proven beyond a shadow of doubt by modern science what Aristotle talked about 1,000 years ago. That was the topic of dualism, which was versus the materialism, that the materialists were saying there's nothing but atoms and void. It's either nothing or something, nothing or something. But Aristotle was saying that there's something beyond that something. There's something beyond atom. That brain that you say can create, or there's either atom or void, there's something beyond atoms. And that is what brain cannot reach. And that is your forte. That is where you come into the picture. That's why you're above the brain. Brain is a tool. So when you recognize these and you watch that video, you'll be more aware of the fact that you're beyond the brain. While you're following the brain, you've been duped to think that brain is the intelligence and the intellect, and you are inferior to the brain, and brain is everything that we are. You're misled. We are misled all our lives. And one very simple thing that you don't have to be a scientist to know, that is that where was this brain, if brain is us, So where were we before 40,000 years ago? We lived for millions of years. But all through that, until 40,000 years ago, we didn't have this brain. So how did we live? What was it that was making us capable of living and surviving and having our gender, having our sexuality, having our orientation, having our hunting capabilities, sleeping, eating, doing whatever it is that we wanted? Instinct. We were living instinctively, stem brain. We didn't have any of this bullshit that this brain is creating for us. This brain was developed about 40,000 years ago. We came to have it. It was a tool, addition to human being, not creating human being. Before it was added to us, we still had all these ability to reason and to survive and differentiate, make decisions, and a sense of knowing who we are, aware of our existence, our needs, protecting ourselves. All mechanisms were there. So we were there before this brain was developed and added to us. What is added to us cannot be me. It's addition to me. It's a tool. So brain is not you. You're not the brain. So when the brain goes wacko, haywire, and keeps making thoughts and repetitious and intrusive thoughts, it's powerful enough to make you believe those thoughts, but those thoughts are not you, regardless of what and how many times it says it. Why? Because the brain itself that creates these thoughts did not even exist or be part of us until 40,000 years ago. So there was a me, and there will always be a me, and the brain is an organ added to facilitate my livelihood and make it easier for me to calculate things, figure out things. Did not replace me, cannot ever replace me. Because according to the experiments of Dr. Owens, when a brain is actually crushed in an accident and a person was in vegetative state and the brain was not functional, it was crushed, but still they could communicate with the person. Where and how? Brain was already dead. That's why you're beyond the brain. There are aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. That's the interesting point about you. That's what you rely on to come back to health every time brain malfunctions or betrays you. It's an organ. It malfunctions, like your kidney, like your liver, like your intestine. It malfunctions. It gets diarrhea. But you don't say, "Oh, diarrhea. I must have always been a diarrhea." No, you got to heal it now. Not that that's you. Same thing with brain. So, having said that, let's move on to and Harnavaz says 22. How are you, sir? Thank you very much. Harnavaz, where are you? In Canada, no? Were you? And Kuro smiles, but I'd like to know where you are and age and gender. Steven says, I wanted to treat myself, so just bought myself a really nice car that before I couldn't afford. Excellent. Excellent job. Good for you. What did you buy? Now drive carefully now. Good job. Harnavaz says, Harnavaz, first tell me your age. Oh, you did, 22. Where are you now? Like, what part of world are you at? Are you in? So sometimes I could not even write when I see the teacher in front of me. And mostly I feel insecure when I see the person coming opposite to me. Your key is a bit weak and you need to strengthen that. Key is the energy of the universe that flows through all of us. And like anything else, you got to practice it and promote it so the conflux would be flowing much easier and stronger. And for that, you need to practice, which you can do that through meditation. I've got the meditations already, guided meditation when I had live streams. Just go on the search engine of the channel and type in meditate, or meditation, one of the two. You'll have lots of them coming in. Some of them are 29 minutes, in which in detail, I've explained how it's done. So you can do it and few minutes a day and go from there. The more you feel like it, you can do more of it. You connect yourself with the energy of the universe. You connect yourself with the universe, and the energy flow will increase, and the conflicts would be clear, and therefore you become a powerful person by having lots of energy extending from you, which then, when you're moving and walking and somebody walks towards you, their energy is not stronger than yours. Your energy actually overcomes their intrusive, if it's negative or whatever, your energy going, their energy coming. When yours is stronger, then overtakes. But as it is right now, yours is not so strong. So when they come in, they actually, what? I don't know how it's, okay, let's put this way. Let's say this is you, and you're not so strongly focused, and their energy kind of overwhelms you. So you feel anxiety and threatened. But when you meditate and learn, when they're coming towards you, you're stronger, and their energy does not overwhelm you. And that is the basis of feeling anxious, anxiety, when somebody is approaching you. And at the same time, you're at the age that you want to prove to them how good you are, that you've done your duties and responsibilities, you studied well and all that, and that interferes with your confidence level, and you feel inferior. Gustavo Wickstrom says, I have a friend. Gustavo, I need to know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from, which country, before we can go through your question. Locomotive says, makes sense. Thanks for the insight. You're welcome. I don't know what it was. I forgot. But okay, you're welcome. Must have been something good. And Sloki says, my ex told me that I was ignoring her and didn't inviting her to restaurants. And that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. They always try to find something to blame you for their decision, so they won't look like an asshole that they broke the pact or they broke the promise, justifying their own actions by blaming you. Forget that. What am I, a entertainment center? Take you to restaurant? Why don't you take me to restaurant? I mean, equality these days, no? You can't have both ways. All equality, everything is equal. Man and woman are equal. We're not equal. But if you want to call it that, then why don't you take me to restaurant? Now, you could have turned around and said, well, you didn't ever cook anything for me. You didn't do this and that for me. The things that I'm not as good and you're better than me. Why is it that you constantly think that the man has to do things when you're not doing the things that a woman should do traditionally? Forget all this bullshit that everything is equal. No, we are not equal. Two different energy, two different needs, two different roles. We're not equal. When did I see women building railroads or attending to earthquakes? We do that. When did I see them do plumbing? Building roads? Rescue missions? Wars? We go to war. We get killed. We're not equal. We're protectors. So we have our place on this earth, and our role is different than the role of woman. We are not equal. And there are things that women can do we can never do. They're center of love. They're center of family. They're center of the universe. Everything we do in this life is for them. We go to war for them. We take care of things for them. We build road for them. We kill ourselves for them. We sacrifice ourselves for them. We protect them to our death. We're not equal. We have our place, but they have their importance. If they weren't important, we wouldn't do any of these things. So they're amazing. They're important. We love them, but they have their own duties that they should take care of. There's certain things we cannot do as good as they can. And they should know that. We appreciate them. We worship them for that. But don't tell me you're the same as me and I should do everything for you. What for? What about your duties? Attend to me and I attend to you, and I attend to my duties and you attend to your duties, and let's have the role that we are meant to have, rather than all these bullshit of feminism and all that. Feminism is all great and I'm all for it as long as it's for equal opportunity, equal pay, equal education, equal jobs, and equal everything that you're capable of doing. But not hating men and we are bad just because we are, you want to be us or whatever. I don't want a woman who wants to be a man. That's not a woman for me. So this business of you didn't take me here, you didn't take me there, well, there are lots of things you didn't do either. But that's not the issue for a relationship. If I didn't take you there, why don't you suggest it? Why don't you make money yourself and you invite us to a restaurant? Equality. Otherwise, we can go back to a more traditional way, and you have all the freedoms that you should have as I have, but at the same time, you have your role as a woman and I will have my role as a man. That brings balance, not the bullshit that we're going through. That's why the whole world is in such a chaos and fucked up as it is. So don't start me on that. All right. Mazakaral. Oh my goodness. It's been a while since you've shown up here, haven't you? 35 male Australia says, when the war in Ukraine began, womena, what is womena? Women and children could flee the area when men aged 18 and 70 had to stay back and fight for the country. Where was equality then? Yeah, there you go. Okay, you're affirming what I was talking about. All right. So, guys, it's been 1 hour and 12 minutes. I've answered all the questions other than Gustavo's, which never told us how old he is and where he is coming in. And Harnava says, when somebody trying to hurt me emotionally and I cannot control my emotions, well, just stay away from those people who are negative emotionally, so you don't have to interact with them. Guys and girls, do we have any gals here? We used to have 50% women and 50% men, but now it's all men, I guess. In any case, I thank you very much for being. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. And in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing. Again, just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.